And we're live. Good evening and welcome, everyone. It's another edition of Gem's Flat Earth Sunday Roast. A fun-packed show this evening, chock full of some Flat Earth foolishness for you. Absent from the panel this evening, but hoping to join us later, is the ever-lovely Twit. We are, of course, joined by our social affairs editor, the somewhat less lovely Lewis Hackett.
Just this week. I forgot to groom myself today.
It was that was only a spin off the comment I made about Twit, mate. I didn't actually know you were going to look rough, but thanks for making the effort. Soundly's not with us yet, is he? Hopefully Soundly will be joining us later as well. And we bullied and begged and got him back for a second week. He's friendly. He's flat friendly, but he ain't flat. It's Cat Earth. Hi, Cat.
Hello. I just want to clear this up. I've been getting a lot of trolls, right? And I just want to say that I'm not a real cat. I know that, so I'm going to change my name to Decimal C.
Decimal C. More on that in a moment. Our special guest this evening recently returned from a special gossip gathering mission in the frozen north. He's been to the movies with Patricia Steer and Mark Sargent. It's Quartus.
I have indeed, and glad to be here.
Can you tell us a little bit about that, Quartus? I'd love to hear about it. I think the audience would too.
This was at the premiere of the Behind the Curve film a few months back, 2-3 months back, I think.
Right.
And sure enough, I was sitting just right behind them at the showing. They'd flown up from their respective distant quarters on their own nickel to see this film for the first time. They'd never seen it before. It made watching the documentary, if you haven't seen it, you should. It's on Amazon and Netflix, I think. But it made it kind of a surreal experience because
right.
The two people who were being roasted on screen, effectively roasting themselves on screen, were sitting right there in the front. So that was a bit odd, to say the least.
I bet it was. I would love to have been there.
Mm-hmm.
But, I have seen the thing though. It was I absolutely loved it. I thought it was great. Really did.
Yeah, it's very well made.
Sorry, I'm slightly distracted by Soundly sending me messages telling me he's driving back. So, straight from the shores of Lake Pontchartrain, and
what a surprise!
Yeah, he was live streaming from there earlier today, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. He showed me this picture of this enormous cruise ship. God, it was huge. Anyway, interesting. Right.
Yep.
Let's push on. We've got some cool clips for you this evening. I'm absolutely buried here in tabs and stuff for some reason. I'm being a bit more efficient this evening, but I've ended up with more tabs than ever. Anyway, what have we got? Well, we've already had a reference to it with the Decimal C. But many people may know Flat Earth YouTuber by the name of Dr. Zach. Dr. Zach, well, infamously, I guess, managed to debunk soundly, or thought he had, but picked the wrong set of power lines. Anyway, Dr. Zach has decided to change his name, and he made a video about it called, I think, Dr. Zach No Longer Exists, or something along those lines. So in this video, he tells us his life story, which I've edited down for you. And at the end of it, we get a special musical cameo appearance that is cringeworthy beyond belief. So, enjoy.
My name is Zach, and I am from Spain. I was born in Morocco in 1983. It was a hard journey. The road to success was not easy. My name is Zach, and I'm from Spain. I suffered a lot, but I couldn't go back because I wanted to prove that I was man enough to stand on my feet. At that time, I still had my grandfather. He was my friend. He used to take care of me when I was attending university. He was a smart guy. He was my role model. But one day he told me that the earth was flat, and I laughed at him for the first time. I just couldn't help it. But the words he said to me stayed in the back of my mind until I met a crazy farmer who confirmed to me that modern science is not needed for predicting the weather. The man was unschooled, but could predict the weather. I was good at math, so I used to do my own calculations. I found myself alone. My grandpa passed away that same year, never knowing that I didn't laugh at his theories anymore. I then had enough time to meditate. I created a new channel and named it Mr. Z to the O. And I don't even know why. Then I changed my channel's name to Dr. Zach. I never planned on making any videos about Flat Earth. I was actually doing music, but then I noticed that Flat Earthers needed someone to calculate things precisely. I realized that this someone had to be me. I made my first Flat Earth video with 2D animation and people liked it. But I had to take down that video because I realized it was wrong. Then I met Sandor and we made the laser experiments. This brought me a lot of trolls. 95% of them had the same problem, my channel's name.
Dr. Zach is actually Dr. Quack. Dr. Zach is not a real doctor.
Everyone is complaining about it and I don't understand why. If a real doctor says the earth is flat, will you believe it? Just because you know for sure he is a real doctor? What's wrong with you people? I'm tired of explaining myself and answering the same question over and over again. So I have decided to change my channel's name again.
The name Dr. Zach. The name you always hated and complained about is now Decimal Z. And from now on, this is my logo. What you gonna say about it, son?
Yo, his name isn't Dr. Zach anymore. You wanna know what his freaking new name is?
This channel was made 8 years ago. It was named Mr. Z to the O. Zach had to go cause he didn't have a goal. 4 years later, he had to come back. He changed the name to Dr. Zach. Not to deceive you, you maniac, but to flat smack the bald cod clack. Anybody who truly knows Zach knows he could never be a quack. But the freaking hacks keep conspiring behind his back. But he's always on track, even though they put him in an angle of attack. He'll attack back till you get the F back. Zach got the skills that you lack. You control, you could chill or affront. You could diss or abuse or refuse or disgrace. You could chase him. You'll always get slapped on the face in till you go back to your grave in. You'll curse the cult you embracing. That's the fact that we enhance. His new name is Decimal Z. From now on, that's all you're gonna see. Decimal Z, Decimal Z, Decimal Z, Decimal Z, Decimal Z, Decimal Z. Decimal Z, Decimal Z, Decimal Z, Decimal Z, Decimal Z.
Is basically
Awesome. Don't lie.
Right. Go on then, Kat. Tell us what you think.
Look, man.
I'm going to
like,
make
man,
Lewis hang
first
on
of all,
to
like,
it for a bit longer because it seems to be hurting him.
Look, listen. First of all, man's got yoga skills. That was impressive. That thing he did with the with the legs and the that was crazy. And look, let's be real, yeah. Karen B can rap. She can rap. Like it's just that the production's a bit off. Like that's a rap. Like that's not like it's not amazing, but it's better than like 90% of people could do. Honestly, like technically, it was just the execution was a bit flawed. You know, like and Decimal Z, it's Decimal Z, the Decimal Z, the Decimal Z. Yes, big thumbs up.
I think that she actually sang the bit, and it wasn't edited. What do you think?
Yeah, man, just needs a bit of few. You know, see someone say, "Look, do another take, darling." Do you know what I mean? Like it's not quite there yet. Like, but you know, it was good. It had flow. It had like all this stuff that rap needs. Whatever. I listen to a lot of rap. I don't know anything about rap, but whatever. Just like.
But is it appropriate? Is it appropriate if you're a truth seeker, if you're part of FE Core, if you're supposed to be all sciencey? Is it appropriate?
No, of course not. It's just silly, isn't it? These guys are all silly. They're just looking for attention, aren't they? And they're like, you know, I think he's got a lot of charisma. I think he's actually quite talented, really, because he's put out this amazing troll channel. Like, I'm not saying he's a troll, like whatever, but it's a troll. Do you know what I mean? And he's, you know, he's put together like some little video and all. I just think, you know, and he goes out and he does his stuff. He's working hard. He just just an idiot. I don't know.
Go on then, Lewis. You were dying to get in there, I think.
I think it is absolutely, like you said, cringy that it obviously hurt him that people were making fun of his name and criticizing his name like he's a doctor. Like
Right.
it speaks to how much he thinks of his own opinion, that he took that criticism to heart and then renamed himself and made a rap out of it.
Right.
It just reinforces that whole idea that he actually cares instead of commenting on, I don't know, anything else. That's what I have to say about that particular part. And then the Karen B thing, like, I'm wondering how that conversation went down.
Good
I'm
point.
making a rap. And she was like, oh, yeah, a rap. That sounds like a good way to make us hip, you know? We'll get along with all the people. We'll just make a rap with Dr. Zach.
Nah, trust me, she just wants to rap. She can rap. Like, she didn't just write that off the cuff. She writes rap, I'm telling you. Like, I'm not saying she's good. I'm just saying that's not like an amateur thing she just did there. There's a bit of skill involved there, what she did. It was just badly done, I know. But it had a flow. And, like, yeah, big up Karen B. I used to think she was completely crazy. Now I just think she's completely crazy, but she can rap.
No, she read that, Kat. She read that from a piece of paper talking into a microphone, and then she stood doing the same repetitive, only moving her shoulders and hips slightly dance, okay? There was no skill involved there. I could do that shit, and they didn't even light her up. You couldn't even see her face. There was nothing
Isn't
there.
that the idea, though? Well, have you any thoughts, Quartus?
Well, Karen B was the provider of all the cringe I can imagine anyone providing in that thing. But what struck me with the Zach part is he talks about his hard upbringing and then shows a series of clips and stills in which there's no sign of any hardship whatsoever.
Right. He seems to be on holiday most of his early life.
Yeah, no kidding. So, yep.
So, any thoughts on Karen's moves? I mean, Lewis has said, I mean, who was it said? Well, I won't say who was it said. I do remember who said this. But they said she's a real normie dancer.
Uh-huh. She's the ultimate in white people dancing. No motion from the hips down. So could be sitting in a chair. You'd get the same dance, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, that's about 10 times more motion than I have when I'm dancing.
Well, there you go.
My dancing occurs only in my mind these days. But yeah, so that was Dr. Zach. And
can I just say, is that like there's a longer version out there? Is that what you're saying? You edited
yeah,
that down? I'm gonna watch the whole thing.
The life story part was probably, I don't know, probably maybe twice as long as that, a bit longer.
Oh, that's the bit I want to watch.
And to be fair, that my version of it is perhaps a little disjointed. It makes a little bit more sense when you watch the whole thing, and then it culminates with the rap.
I think it's just a masterpiece, honestly. I think it's the best thing come out of Flat Earth this year. So.
But I think what Lucy said is almost correct. She spoke all of it, apart from one word. Went right in the first line, where she goes, "This channel was made 8 years ago." And go, she sings.
Look, okay, look, I listen to a lot of rap, yeah, and like I think some people like I'm there for the quality, do you know what I mean, and the flow. It was just almost there, badly executed. That one thing I'll give you, maybe she copied someone else's rap and changed a few lyrics to make it work.
Hold
in
on,
that
I'm
case,
53. All raps are exactly the same.
Nah,
they are. They're all.
But it is a rap from back
rap.
in your day, so yeah, like
They just changed the. I'm told they're called lyrics.
Yeah, lyrics. She's lyrical. It was old school. The style was old school as well. It's dated, the dated style, but still, respect. Big up Karen B. Yeah, like I've always thought you're proper nuts, but you can rap, I think, unless you copied the lyrics. Sorry. There you go.
Okay, well, let's move on. No video clip for this one, but Morgile is free. And I felt we should just mention this at least because we did report on him being locked up. So he did a hangout last night, and he is at liberty. And told us, really, that guy has had he's had a really shit life. He's had some terrible things happen to him. And his prison experience was just, oh my God, it was just awful. But I don't know. I think you heard. Did you watch it, Lewis?
Yeah, I did. I
know you're a big Morgul fan.
Oh, the biggest. Yeah, I just started last night, and now I know. I just started watching all of his content. But it does seem like he has a bit unique of a situation, a bit atypical. A lot of people that go to jail and they're gonna get thrown in with a bunch of other people, and they're gonna get a more standardized processing arrangement. But because his mother was a correction officer where he was put in, he wasn't given that privilege. He was put in protective custody immediately.
Right.
And so that set him back in the processing arrangement, which actually worked to a disadvantage, whereas his mother obviously meant that as a good thing to keep him separate from the other people in there.
Right.
So it kind of backfired from his point of view. He seemed to be pretty resilient, and I actually haven't followed. I actually haven't followed the Morgile all that much up until last night. But I watched the entirety of his stream, which it took him like 4 attempts to get going. I'm not sure what was going on with his internet, but he eventually got it all going. And it was a very nice story. I'm happy he made it out, and I actually ended up liking the guy a lot more. I
have to say I came away from it feeling just, I don't know. I mean, I think he's obviously, clearly he's made a series of bad decisions, but
right.
He also seemed to have a whole series of just bad luck, and he was in jail. Then they came and arrested his brother, and his brother was in jail. Then they arrested his brother's girlfriend, and she was in jail, and it was just, oh my God, what a nightmare. And then they talked about he was extradited to, was it Florida?
Yeah.
Is he in South Carolina? He's extradited to Florida.
I think he was extradited from Florida to South Carolina.
Right.
I think that's how it worked out.
Yeah, that's right. And they took him on this 2-day road trip in a prison van, eating fast food all the way. It was just... Oh, I don't know. Did you see this at all, Quartus? I don't know if you noticed it.
I didn't. I saw little bits of it, but I'm suffering from what I think can only be called the Morgile effect. Because hearing that he's out of prison, I mean, I thought he died back in the 80s. but I'm really pleased to see him reunited with his mother, wife, and all's well that ends well. So I wish him the best.
Yeah. So
told.
Go ahead.
He told the story last night of how he ended up there. And basically, his dog ran. There were 6 people living in the apartment he was in. So he was housing his brother's girlfriend, I believe his wife, and there was a friend of his brother's in there, I believe.
Right.
So there was a whole bunch of people living in a 1-bedroom apartment. And so obviously you can imagine there's a lot of infighting going on there. There's a lot of natural problems that people have with each other when they're jammed into tight spaces. And so he got drunk one night on, I believe he said whiskey or vodka, one of the two, some hard alcohol. And he went out looking for his dog who had ran away. And the cops found him, and he had his wife's prescription pills on him. So obviously they booked him. So that's how he ended up where he got to in Florida. And this whole thing basically went down from, when you think about it, in a way, it is a little bit of an injustice. But all of these mistakes are things that he could have easily avoided with some forethought. And I don't know. I don't want to judge the guy, but at the same time, this was an avoidable situation.
Right.
Yeah, this is unforced error, I think, is the right term.
Right. All right, well, let's say hello to the chat this evening. We haven't got many viewers. Oh, hold on, we might have. I probably need to refresh the
Jem, apparently it's kicking off in your Discord server. That's why, mate. You know what I mean? That's what everyone's saying. I don't even know your Discord server. I'm saying, that's what everyone's saying.
Right, so who's here this evening with us? Captain Bullshit, good evening. Flat Earth Questioner is here. Mark Taylor's with us, of course. JJ, welcome. Cathexmus, hi. Alan B is with us. Hi, Alan. Tal Seti is with us. Was there a new... There was a new... Shit, can't remember what Tal's video's called now. Remind me, quick, someone.
Flat Earth Full Retard Mode?
Yeah, that. There was a new one, wasn't there, recently? Check it out. Sorry, I made a pig's ear of that. Flashburn's with us. Hi, Flash. Rogue277, good evening. Alkay is with us. Rizzler, hi. Yeah, decimal Z, quite right, not Z. Shroominati, shout out to Shroomy.
Shout out Shroomy.
Who else is here? Not a lot of people. Where is everyone?
Right, look, what you got to do, go to your server, mute everyone, block everyone, and tell them they can only fight in the chat here. And then you just have like hundreds of people chat, fighting. They're not listening, but they'll be fighting.
When you said that, we actually lost 2 viewers.
Yeah, sorry, because they're like, oh, it's kicking off.
Oh, well, it's there for later, for people to see later, isn't it? Right, what we got next? Another video clip. Now, this is interesting, I think. David Weiss, at the Flat Earth Conference, released a Flat Earth Sun and Moon app, which, of course, doesn't work. And he's been out in the Flat Earth world flogging the damn thing. So here he is on the Sun and Moon group telling you all about it. Oops, no sound. Where's the sound?
Using the AE map, and we all know that the globe side...
Oh, was it back?
...is basically a depiction of the flat Earth. You know, I am using the AE map, and we all know that the globe side and the flat Earth side doesn't have a perfect map, but the circle map, in my opinion, is the way the flat Earth works, where the sun's circling around, and we have a preponderance of evidence to support that. So the name of the app, if you don't have it, most of you probably know it already. It's called the Flat Earth Sun and Moon Clock. It's a lot of fun. The trolls absolutely hate it. And if you haven't seen it, this is it right here. I'll show it to you. And the great thing is you can put on a fast time lapse, which will show you how the seasons work.
Can I put one of the other questions I've got in for this? He lives in Queensland, or that area down there, saying that he lives beyond the Tropic of Capricorn, and the sun is coming up souther than that. And it has to be a lot more souther because it's got to go from New Zealand up. And then he's saying he knows that he flies south to go to New Zealand because he's been there before. But he said what he was trying to say was that he couldn't see how any of the maps worked right now. And there was also something else he mentioned on his video, that in the winter, the sun comes up and goes down in the sky in a short distance. I just wondered what that meant for... Yeah.
There's 2 domes, so to speak. I believe that the Earth is covered with a dome. You want to call it glass, you want to call it electromagnetic zone, water, whatever you want to call it. There's a dome that everything is projected, for lack of a better word, through. It's hard to really show it because we're all brought up with this heliocentric physical ball model, and that's what people are thinking in. Everyone has their own personal viewing dome. You're not taking into account the optics of the sky, which are very, very, so when you look to the west, you're looking south. The optics of our personal dome and the real dome do make this light wrap around. We can't go there. It's the magnetic fields of the Earth that could also be wrapping the daylight around. I don't believe that the sun is a physical object. I don't believe that it's hundreds of miles away. I think it's much closer than that. I put out the iPhone app first, and it was a free download. But if you want the time-lapse features and the backgrounds, it's $2.99. And that's the way it was. The Android app actually cost me a lot more, and we're talking a lot of money. And because of the response that I was getting, the trolls went in onto Apple, and they can download it for free and leave a review. And the reviews, doesn't help. When you get a lot of 1-star reviews and a bunch of just silly ball, arguments. These people believe we live on a spinning ball. So what are they going to say about my app? So I decided to make the Android app $2.99. If you want to download it, it's $2.99. And people that are complaining about that, what I say to you is, if anybody wants to pay my developer bill, I'll gladly put both of the apps out for free. But it costs many thousands of dollars. Okay, so and it's going to continue to cost. And I've been working with a team in India from 11 p.m. to 9 a.m. my time, every single day for the last couple months, and that's how I did it. So there you go. It's super fun to have when you're out talking to people. It's also fun, if you turn it on, it won't time out, and you can put it on your desk, plug it in the charger, and it's a desk clock.
Well, there you have it. Every single day from 11 to 9, my time for a desk clock.
I was going to ask if he outsourced it, because looking at him and listening to him, he doesn't write apps. So, but I can't believe he got took for thousands of dollars for this Tinker Toy app.
Right, because essentially it's a clock. I mean, I'm not an app developer, but I would have thought there's something out there already that you could just alter, essentially.
Pretty much. And it wouldn't be hard to write it from scratch either. It's a simple app.
Right.
To me, it's just another reason why I still stay with iPhone, really. I mean, I don't know why everyone's switching off. I could have got this for free. You know what I'm saying?
I should have asked you to download it, Kat, because I would like to see the damn thing, but of course there's no way I'm going to give him £3 of my money.
Yeah, I might get it now. I just think, I actually believe him when he says he got taken for thousands of dollars by some scammers.
I have it running on my tablet right now.
Oh, really? Gorgeous.
Yeah.
You bought it.
So
trust me, it's not made a profit.
No, I did not pay for it. I'm not crazy. I got the free version, not the $2.99 version. So.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, Wolfie has done a couple of videos on it showing that it's incorrect. And as we heard in the video, there's even there's a flat earther saying it's not correct.
Yeah.
I think what I find disturbing about this is that he's out there, trying to flog the thing. Jeronism ran the advert that David Weiss made for this on his channel, and he's trying to sell it, and it doesn't work. I guess. I mean, how close does it get in the northern hemisphere? I guess it can't do on the daylight, at least.
It's doing its best on the daylight. It actually has a reasonable projection. It doesn't extend out as far as Antarctica, so you can't see it getting the winter sun 24 hours at all. The edge of the clock covers that part of the map.
Right.
But otherwise, that part of it isn't the worst part. The moon is probably arguably the worst part. It's always in the wrong place.
Even in the northern hemisphere.
Yeah, the moon is constantly and always in the wrong place.
Right.
Like no effort's been made to position it correctly over the sub-Earth, the sub-lunar point, if you will.
Right. His, part of his explanation for this, I mean, you saw he had various different stabs at sort of, convoluting the issue. But, a big part of his explanation was that, as we saw him say, when you look west, you're looking south.
Yes.
And he's saying that everywhere is south. So every direction you look is south, even when you look north, I quote.
Yeah, that's the...
So I wonder why, when he's giving directions for where the sun is rising or whatever, it should just say south for everything.
Yeah, it should.
I mean, he's using that as his excuse, but then he's not used that. I mean, it would just be south, wouldn't it?
In his defense, not that it helps much, but the AE map is the problem with that. If you're going to use the AE map, every direction is south. So.
Right. Anyway, it's I think it's wrong that they're out there trying to sell this thing. If he wanted to if he's giving it away, that would be one thing, but to be ripping off other people in the community with something that they know is wrong.
Yeah, I don't care though.
No.
Well, I don't know. The guy is a moron, and he believes that he's providing something, and he spent a lot of money on it. So I don't know. He kind of has to at this point. So I don't know. I can't fault him too much. He was dumb enough to think that he was doing the right thing. So
the real winner here is the Indian development market. So
yeah, man. Listen, people have got paid. Listen. Right. Whoever's bought that app, loves that app. They're just like, yeah, look at this clock, loving it. Like, do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. That in a way, it's kind of harmless because there's a market for it. If anyone's bought it, he won't even make a profit. He'll have lost loads. There's no way. How many of these is going to sell at $2.99?
Yeah,
It's not that many flat earthers who know him. Do you know what I mean? So it's and if he does make a profit. Big up. It's just a clock at the end of the day. Like there's all kinds of weird, like anime clocks or whatever you like. Do you know what I mean? So whatever,
Right.
I like, I'm just saying. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's the worst thing ever. I kind of feel sorry for him, because he's probably going to lose a lot of money.
Do you think he has though, or do you think that might be just bullshit? And
I actually think he was conned out of a bunch of money by the Indian.
Right.
Do you think he knows how to steal code and do all this stuff?
I guarantee he's never written a line of code in his entire life. Couldn't with a gun to his head.
I know, but you can go on like people per hour or something like that, can't you? I mean, you can get ripped off there, obviously, but
yeah, that's what he's done. And the notion that he had to be up 12 hours a day talking to these developers to get this written, I don't know if that's true or not.
That's where I started to lose a grip with it. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, but I fully believe it cost him a whole bunch of money.
Right, what else have we got? Well, Oakley. We should a quick update on him. I've got no video again, but Oakley is still down. I've heard various bits and pieces about who's making a claim against him. I think they're saying it's a company called Goldfinch Music or something like that, and they've made 17 copyright claims against him, apparently.
Wow.
I know.
Impressive.
Now,
if he's had any music playing on his streams at all, then that's totally normal. Like anytime you play music that's not yours, they have algorithms to check all that as it's uploaded, and they'll copyright you.
While it's still on the air, like this, if I played something for 15 seconds, you'd get a notification. Like it's
right.
That's so that's exactly. Like, I don't think anyone gives a shit if I tell you, but like that's exactly what Riley told me. It was someone called Goldfinch.
Yeah.
But when they looked it up, they said that the account's very young, so it does look like a load of bullshit. To be fair, because I'm pretty sure anything he's played with is within fair use. I mean, unless his streams changed and he has all this music playing nowadays, I don't know.
Well, there's a rumor that Marcus Goldfinch is IPS.
There you go.
So I don't know, and MGTV.
I don't think he's MGTV, but
I have heard that rumor too.
Yeah, who knows?
So I'm not sure. There are bits of it when I see it, I think actually this looks like a legitimate claim, and then there are other bits of it I think this looks like total bullshit. So.
I think sometimes people put too much faith in IPS. He's that clever. Like I don't think it's that kind of level of genius.
Yeah.
I think sometimes he genuinely loses his plot and ruins everything for himself. So I don't know.
I think he has used that name though, or a lot. Several people have said that, but of course, rumors spread fast, don't they, in this community, and
I'm not sure.
Well, wasn't MGTV related with Math Powerland though? I suppose he's a weirdo as well, but I don't know. MGTV they present themselves like they're some sort of truth media movement, and that's it.
Right, yeah. I mean, I know they do a lot of sort of bitching about flat earthers, basically, don't they? So,
Yeah, they always focus on like the darkest, craziest
yeah.
type of thing it could possibly be, and I don't know. I personally find it to be a bit tedious. I don't really.
I don't know. I get some entertainment out of it from time to time. I have to admit. I like the other guy. Oh, what's the other guy called?
Flat Earth Research.
Yeah, Flat Earth Research.
Yeah.
I like that guy.
He's great.
Yeah, there's something about him.
He's so funny, and I used to wind him up, but it was a compliment. But I was like, "You're his biggest cheerleader, dude. I don't watch IPS. I just watch your streams."
Yeah.
IPS. He hated it.
The Oakley thing is I don't know. It's no surprise that we don't have any footage on that because he hasn't been making any footage. So
Right. Well, he has, you know. He has. I mean, Arwen's been doing it, and I think Ranty did one as well. And I think it was the first one of Arwen's he was on this week, I think. I mean, he was back to his usual shouty self, you know, bellowing and abusing people, you know. And Arwen just sat there and let him do it and said, "Oh, I agree with Nathan."
I noticed Arwen was sort of channeling that same energy a little bit towards some of the people on his show. I don't know if it was yesterday. It was probably yesterday.
Right. He's doing a sort of bad copy of Nathan, isn't he? Go ahead. Sorry.
He was basically just saying, "Hey, if you don't agree with this thing I'm saying right now, I'm kicking you off," and that's basically the way Nathan handles everything he does.
Right.
And I wanted to say. I saw Nathan in Tim's chat a little while ago, and he was saying that he's going to file copyright claims against everything that Tim has because there's nothing to stop him.
Right.
And if he doesn't, then if Tim doesn't start, there was some demand that he had, and he said if you don't meet this demand, then I'm going to file these claims. But you can avoid these claims if you tell me what your name is. And where you live. Right. You basically dox yourself. And it was all veiled in this thing of I'm gonna rape Tim Osmond. Like, it was
right.
That was the last thing I heard from Nathan. So
well, one thing I say is that because last time we were talking, I think, about Nathan and the rape thing, like Tim doesn't seem exactly upset. Do you know what I mean? At the end of it, I kind of I softened to it all really because we know Nathan said a lot worse than that to Tim before, you know. Right. So it's
and to me,
yeah, but it's he has. You're right, Jem. So you know, it's not like I think you got to accept at the end of the day that's who you're dealing with when you're dealing with someone. And I don't think he really means it that much. He's just not nice, and he lashes out in just horrible ways. But,
well. He knows that some people are going to take it seriously, and so he's trying to get behind your guard, and he's trying to upset you emotionally. Yeah. And he gets off on seeing that he's had an effect on you, and that's sort of like basically it's the same thing that IPS is doing, really.
But you know why that is? It's because he gets so triggered himself. That's why he loves trying to trigger you in these horrible ways, and he'll go to these lengths because he's the most triggered guy you'll ever see on the internet.
Right? Yeah, that's true. Insane. He is, isn't he? He is a sort of absurd character that he's created, really.
Yeah.
But I think, in a way, for me, that makes it worse because if you're going to create a character, you could have just created a nice one. I mean, I did.
Well, I don't know.
I guess a loony, shouty one is more compelling to watch.
Yeah, well, exactly. Do you know what I mean? I think he knows that these are the sort of things that sell. Is like you're not going to get a load of viewers just everyone being really nice a lot of the time unless it's really interesting what everyone's talking about.
I think it helps him too, that it's actually crazy. I think it helps him that he's actually crazy, so you know he's going with what he knows.
Yeah. Do you think he actually believes the Earth is flat, Quartus?
I don't think it matters if he does or not. Like I don't think it matters to him either whether he's right or wrong. He's bought into it, you know.
Right.
He's a card-carrying member at this point. At this point, the tenets of it are unimportant. He just keeps rubbing the same color of mud into his navel.
Right. I noticed, when I was watching think we kind of touched on this last week, but when I was watching Anthony at the Speaker's Corner, and he was making all those arguments that they make in Nathan's Hangout, and the idea was lost. You know, the whole flat Earth was sort of out the window, not mentioned, because he was busy arguing about, you know, independent variables and you know, stuff like that.
It's generic anti-science, anti-establishment stuff. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, I don't want to grind on about what I'd said last week. Sorry, go ahead, Kat.
Well, he didn't get much done after I arrived because we just sat there talking. But I haven't heard all his new arguments about his 50 millionth or whatever. It's like, but as soon as I started talking about the actual 200 proofs, they're all like, "Well, yeah, we know some of it's not." You know, it's like, well, why have you got it here on a poster then?
Right, I know. They say that, and they've got the AE map on there, and they'll go, "Well, it doesn't look like that. This is just there for demonstration." Well, demonstration of what? If it doesn't look like that, you know.
Yeah.
You know, they sort of they have it there for use when they need it, but they, of course, as always, as we've all seen since the beginning of Flat Earth, they abandon any map the minute you try and challenge it. You know, it's always the first thing to go is the map.
Well, you know, it's not even flat Earth; it's globe denial. That's the whole thing of it.
Right.
That's what it really is. Actually, it's really not about flat Earth for them. It's about, you're wrong about the globe. Do you know what I mean? Look at all this stuff, because they know they can't really do the flat Earth thing in a lot of cases, I think, but they won't. But what I was trying to say to them is this: it's either a globe or it's either curved. Where's the curve? Where's the curve? Or it's not curved. It's only two options. Do you know what I mean? It's either flat or it's got a shape, and there is a curve. You know, and
I think you know, even if you're saying it's not a globe, and the reasons you're saying it's because, you know, I can see too far, or, you know, this sort of thing, then you know, you're saying it's flat.
Right. It can only be one or the other. But for them, a lot of it is, you know, it's. I do believe Riley's a flat earther, honestly, from meeting him. I didn't before. I thought he was just crazy. But, like, when I met him, I just think he believes it. I do. He's just very. You can be argumentative and clever in that way and believe something crazy. Do you know what I mean? I think. And I think that's what it's a case of. It's say for Nathan. I don't think he'd put himself through all this if he didn't, like, have at least a fit. You know, maybe he's not 100% flat, but he's, like, leaning that way a lot. You know, genuinely.
Right.
Because why embarrass yourself like this and do this, you know?
Well, what if you'd been taken in by it at first, and then at some point you reached a realization? I mean,
right.
I think there's then an incentive for you to, you know, just keep going.
Yeah.
You know, it might be easier than saying, actually, I got this wrong, and
especially if you're making money off of it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I've often thought that, like, about Jaren, and, like, that's what I, as someone who was a flat earther for a while, that isn't something, you know, I experienced, because I didn't throw my colours out there like they have. Do you know what I mean? And just be like, I did in real life. That's embarrassing, but not online, and to an extent where I had a following and a. You know, and loads of people looking up to me. Because, look, even people like Ranty and stuff, they have a lot of people looking up to them. Do you know what I mean? At this point, it's a nice feeling for anyone, you know, to have that sort of, you know, validation. And that's Ranty. Genuinely, I just don't think he gets it. So that's a different thing. But, you know, even for Nathan, it would be hard. I don't know, but I don't know. I think once you get it in your mind, I don't know how you could continue, honestly. If it look at how Jamie Brown reacted, you know, in the face of a lot of people slagging him off and stuff. It's like, if it clicks in your mind, it's not. I don't know. Maybe these people are just very dishonest, and I'm not giving them credit for that dishonesty.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's the thing with Jaren there. I think that's a really interesting point, because in that documentary, he says, after he gets done looking at the experiment himself, he says, interesting. That's interesting. That's really interesting.
Right.
And you can tell that he knows exactly what he's looking at from the words that he has said, that means his own conclusion is that the Earth is round. And it's like he knows that Bob isn't going to accept this. He knows he's got this show. He's got everything. He's got all these balls rolling. already. So he's thinking, okay, well, I have to say something, but I cannot accept the pre-agreed upon conclusion of what that would mean, which is that it's evidence that the Earth's a ball. So he just says that's interesting, and he's leaving it open in his mind to wait for Bob, because Bob's really heading this whole thing. There's an emotional connection that they have together as a team for this whole show they have going on. And they haven't had a show. Globebusters hasn't had a show in it's going on 3 weeks now. They weren't live today. Yeah, they weren't live the week before. And you might say, oh, that's because of the Morgile, and they were waiting on the Morgile, and he's just gotten it out. But yeah, exactly, Kat. I don't think so. I think this has to. I think there's an internal struggle that they're having with each other, and I think their content's becoming less consistent, and I think they're changing inside.
I reckon Jeranism is just about to bust out as a massive Christian. He's been slagging off Jesus way too much. It's coming to him. It's just coming to him. He's just like, you see, I'm not flat. I'm a Christian. Oh yeah, praise the Lord. Come on, Jaren. I'm saying that's.
It's good that you've got that Christian hope, Kat. That's.
I believe.
That's
good on you.
So,
anyway, talking of
and
Christ,
IPS, he's coming too. Yeah.
Talking of Christ, and more specifically his birthday. What's the guy's name? I don't know the Nathan Thompson.
Santa Claus.
I think that one. Has been doing a bit of flat Earth activism over Christmas. So let's have a look.
Merry Christmas. Happy Flat Earth. Happy Flat Earth. Hey, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. You know of NASA and Rasa and Elon and Branson, comets and asteroids and black holes and CERN men. But do you recall the most famous flat earther of all? Jesus, the one Messiah and Lord of all. Only some will follow, even though he calls us all. Jesus loves you guys. He reigns on high.
Amen, bro.
He's looking down upon you. He wants to hear your prayers. How you doing? Merry Christmas, Happy Flat Earth.
What are you doing? What are you handing out?
This is just a pamphlet.
Pamphlet of what? Did the mall management office give you permission to do that?
Do I have to ask?
You have to have permission, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Here's our code of conduct. There's no soliciting at all, so you have to get permission from the mall management office.
Oh, okay.
During non-holiday, during business hours, things like that, to be able to do stuff like that. Otherwise, we'll have to ask you to stop doing this. You're welcome. Just can't be passing.
Oh, just can't hand anything out. I gotcha. Right. Okay. Well, can I at least hand the last two to you guys?
No. If we take it, then
you're in jeopardy.
Yeah, those police were definitely Satanists. Message.
They were mall cops.
Possessed. They're possessed. Demons.
They were like total mall cops, though, weren't they? Like just, like
amazing.
in the movie.
Yeah, they deal with nut jobs like that every day.
Who was that guy? Who was it? Sorry.
No, that was Nathan Thompson.
Nathan Thompson. Yeah.
No, Nathan.
You know the what's his channel is the Flat Earth Doctrine.
Right. Yeah.
It's in the documentary, bouncing a golf ball off of a sledgehammer.
Yeah. So I thought I would have been really disappointed to be one of those kids. Like, here's Santa. Santa usually has great things for you. But what do I get when I reach into his bags? A fucking piece of rolled up paper with words on it.
Well, actually, you know what? I didn't include it because I just didn't get the time. But in that video, there are 2 instances where people hand him the thing back.
Oh!
One of them where the guy goes to quite a length to sort of chase him down to give it back to him. So, but having said that, to be fair to him, there is another bit which I didn't include where he's talking to this group of these like 3 or 4 black guys, teenagers, or maybe 20s, early 20s, and he starts singing to them, and then they start sort of dancing and going, yeah, come on, yeah, and all this sort of thing. And they're really quite entertained by it. And it was quite... Anyway, I recommend watching it because I thought it was actually... There were some entertaining bits in it. There's another bit where he sings to some little kid and the little kid puts his arms around him and he's like, I've been good, Santa, and all this stuff, which is quite good. But then there was another bit where he said... A kid comes up to him and she says, "Are you real?" And he said, "Santa's not real, no." That straight away, and the mother goes, "Did you just say Santa's not real?"
That's insane.
And he gave out his little flyers and walked away quick from that one.
That's the best troll ever to go around, address the Santa, telling kids Santa isn't real. I'm not a real kid. Like,
it's slightly creepy, isn't it? Really.
Well, with my Christian literalist hat on, I've just got to say, come on, you can't be celebrating the pagan myth of Christmas or whatever, because I thought they all didn't like Christmas. So, anyway, yeah.
Well, but Santa's a saint, isn't he? He's Saint Nicholas.
Yeah, but you know what they're like, because they don't like Catholicism. Now, I'm studying Catholicism. I won't bore you with it at all. Don't worry. But like, do you know what I mean? Because I think a lot of the time we hate things that we haven't looked into properly too much. Do you know what I mean? So I'm looking at it. So I get where people are coming from, but from the Bible literalists, where I've been there at points in my life. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like you shouldn't be like using Santa and all that. They hate all that. Trust me, they hate it. So. Yeah, if you're a literalist, I don't know, which you have to be if you're a Bible flat earther kind of person. So.
Yeah, I've heard quite a few of them. Who was it? Yeah, someone. Actually, I had a clip that we never used from last week's show, but someone phoned in. Karen B was on Mark Sargent's show. You know, his Strange World show.
Okay.
Someone called in. When he introduced her, she talked a little bit about Christmas, and she's got a number of children, and she talked about that a little bit. And then someone rang in and said, "You shouldn't be celebrating Christmas, and it's some pagan festival about burning children," and just gave her a right hard time about it.
Yeah.
And then she did this whole, gave her her sort of life story, in particular talking about her divorce and how she had been grilled for 3 hours in court about her flat earthism, and it was worth a watch, that one. I think that's Strange World. It will be not the most recent one, but the one before that.
I think I'm watching anything with Karen B right now. She's on the top of my list right now.
She's everywhere, isn't she? She's in every chat, although she's got me blocked, so I don't see her very often. But I'm told she's in a lot of chats, and you know, when you arrive, it tells you a moderator here has you blocked, which is a notice I see on YouTube a lot.
I don't think she had me. I still see a comment, so I'm not blocked by her. But she was talking about me on when I was at the Hyde Park, whatever, and she defended me or something to Lewis, and then slagged me off, obviously. Then when she realised I'm ripping, but I'm like, big up Karen B. If I ever met Karen B, I go for a beer with her. So do you know what I mean? Like, and get her to do some raps for me.
I forgot to mention, Riley was very nice about you. Actually, he really liked you, obviously.
Honestly, we got on really well. Like, I've got nothing wrong to say about them. Like it was only the Jason guy. Obviously, he got a bit stressed But when I look back I looked at his stream that I was on, and I was like, you know what? Like, to be fair, I was getting a bit triggered and a bit hype, so maybe I could have toned that down a bit. But we got on fine later. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not trying to be.
He's a guy who's never really been challenged, mate. I bet it was disturbing for him because he goes swanning around the towns and cities of the UK, spewing all sorts of nonsense that flat earthers have told him. And he's a newbie by his own admission. And he just doesn't know if any. He just repeats it. Cavendish has only ever been done once.
I think that's what I didn't like, because when I was there, like the Riley stream, if you see that, it's just nonsense what we were talking about. But like on his stream, it was more like I turned away from Riley, and it was more like because they were saying like, because I wanted to get away from his gish gallop of like I don't know what he's on about. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a scientist, and I'm just like I want to talk about this like poster here, 200 proofs, and when we got onto that was where people were getting triggered, because it was like, well, what do you know? And I was like, dude, I was a flat earth. I know some of the 200 proofs because do you know what I mean? I've gone through it, so I went through what I know, and especially Jason, he doesn't know about solar filter, right? Which is a big thing for me personally.
Right.
It's like that video you've seen. I mean, even when I saw it, it's suspicious because you actually see the sun in the reflection on the sea. It's quite tiny. You know what I mean? But like. Right. Just being able to understand that, hang on, it's not really changing size. And God bless them. Some of them, they all come up and they're like, look how many pictures I've taken of the moon and the sun and all this with solar filters. And they really have. Like this one guy there, lovely guy, man. He's taken all these pictures, but he doesn't really, it's not clicking in his brain. Do you know what I mean? But he has genuinely gone out with the cameras, taken all these solar filters, and he's looked like over like a month, it's changing size, the sun. It's like, but that's not the point.
Right.
But he's gone to that treble. He's bought software to measure pixels, and he's actually measured the sun, actually completely accurately, probably more accurately than any of the ballers have done. You can't take that away from the guy, but he's not. It's not connected in his brain, the very simple point that's being made, And I think that's a lot of the thing with Riley. Everyone's getting stuck in the science and the little numbers and all this, and it's all very simple, really.
Right.
But I don't know. Sorry, I've ranted. Sorry.
No, it's all good, mate. Right, we've got one more little clip to show. It's a blast from the past that popped up this week. I thought with this little interesting, tiny little comment. So let's have a listen.
I'm gonna do a little bit further here, because this here, look at this. Why are there no bars right here, dude? Why are there no bars?
I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna talk over you. Flat Earth has been debunked 6 months ago. What are you talking about?
Apart from gyroscopes, why there's no bars, mate? Listen, wait a minute. Let me answer that for Timmy.
Oh, is that it? That was the best stream I've seen for ages.
That was Vinny, of course, if no one knows. Vinny, if I guess most people will know, but Vinny he used to be Poncho Pete's mate, and he was an ardent flat earther for quite some time, and then he disappeared off the scene, and here he is, clearly another one that's jumped the fence. So I just thought that would be a good little thing to round off with. Any thoughts on that?
That's true. Sorry.
That's all right. Go ahead, mate.
Oh, sorry, mate. Like, I was gonna say that stream's like one of the best things I've seen for ages. Like, it was amazing. I've actually had to put it by my bedside, fall asleep, and then wake up when Vinny finally got to talk to Antonio. It was amazing. Like, he really has a lot of anger, and what I thought was bad at first, but I thought Vinny was okay at first, is like I could see that kind of horrible manipulation Antonio was trying to do to Vinny. Right. He was trying to, do you know what I mean? He was bringing all this stuff up, and I was even typed in the chat once, don't let this happen to him. Like, this is not, he's getting into his head. But like Vinny just like slapped him off. That's the way I saw it anyway. Do you know what I mean? It was just like, I really like that stream, and I'm glad he brought up the MMS, and I'm glad, we all know Antonio, but I thought he slapped him about quite well, and it was great.
Yeah, I should actually credit it's Tim Osmond's stream we were watching there. So yeah, go ahead, Quartus.
Well, I'm glad to see Vinny's figured it out, but he's a little off on his timeline by about 2,000 or 3,000 years. The debunking is not reaching.
Yeah.
No, bully for him, you know.
So, I was thinking that when I heard it.
It's true. It's true. It wasn't just 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to see him back and, you know, batting against the lunacy. I thought that was
yeah.
It's always heartwarming.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
of course,
Vinny
he did
was-
have that whole MMS thing, didn't he? I mean, I can remember he was because
Right.
he's diabetic, and I think he injects insulin. I'm not sure, but his idea at one time was to stop doing that and just do MMS, and he was going to prove.
Yeah, bad idea.
Yeah.
He was in a really bad position for a while, from what I understand. And,
Yeah, he had a bag, didn't he? A catheter or something, is what I heard. But I don't know if
Yeah.
that's true. But even on the stream, Antonio has the balls to go, I had MMS this morning. It's like, no, you fucking didn't.
Right.
Sorry for the swearing, but do you know what I mean? Like, it really grind my gears, Antonio. Like, I think he's really weird, but who knows?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I really struggle to listen to that guy. He just, you know, his voice just makes me angry. And I know people would say that about my voice.
No, Jem, no.
So,
It's the
You have a
syllable.
quite-
Every
you have a quite
syllable
sweet-
is pronounced, and he talks to you like you're a 5-year-old.
Yeah,
And it's just so-
that's right. The way he talks like this all the time. I
Yeah.
find that very annoying.
Oh my god.
And then he has that dun 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 music in the background, and it's just so weird. Oh, no, him and Orphan Red, I think they'd make a great couple. I actually think they should get married. I think that
I
should be.
actually think they look like brother and sister. So
It might be.
Hey, it could be.
If anyone's agents, it's those two. They're in a room like next to each other, just streaming every day.
Their attitudes match perfectly.
They're both from Russia. It's all Russian interference. Oh, sorry.
I don't know about Russian, but
I'm just joking. But yeah, Antonio, I don't know. Like, I thought that was a really, really good stream. I really enjoyed that one. That was like I thought that was thoroughly entertaining. Tim's had some really good streams
He
recently.
has, hasn't he?
So-
Yeah, he has managed to get some debates, proper decent debates going that, you know, I have failed to do for probably 2 years now. So, you know, that's good.
I think no, you've had plenty of. I swear, you must have had a lot of debates in your server.
Yeah,
Oh,
we do
yeah,
on the
this-
server, but it would be nicer to be doing some YouTubey stuff like the olden days, and it's really, to be honest, it's been a while since I've managed to do that.
we should probably reach out to Vinny, actually, see if he would come on here and talk to us.
I could certainly try. He's usually drunk.
Nice.
I'm usually drunk too. I don't know.
Oh, this is another thing. I think all flat earthers are usually drunk because I just watched Riley's video. I haven't been around a lot, so I don't really keep up with where their argument is. But they're playing some video where they're like, "Oh, look, see if I angle the camera up and down, look at the parallax. It's amazing." Like, and I'm like, "Are you drunk? Like, I mean, is everything in the distance parallaxing like that to you?" I just can't understand what this new argument is they're coming up with. And he's put out this video where he's saying, look, if you change the f-stop on a camera, look, the background changes. Look, I'm not good with cameras. Like, as far as I know, f-stop when I was using it in my compositing is just for like the lighting. But whatever, I'm not a camera expert. But the thing is that yeah, fair enough, zooms and all that. But the two pictures next to each other are clearly one, the chair is angled down, the other one, the chair's angled up. The chair arms, you know, you can see they're different heights.
Right.
That's why and it's just very, you know, why are they putting out stuff that's so obvious? You just look at it and you can see like the stop signs changed in the background. You know, it doesn't take a genius. It's weird. Like, I don't know why they put out such bullshit.
Dell
But
did
it's
the
Riley.
same thing when he went for Miles Davis and his bridge observation, you know, and Dell, you know, refuted that by shooting, you know, a fence post that was like 2 feet away or something like that. You know, so look how it changes as I move.
Yeah.
You know, well, it's because it's 2 feet away. Do something 5 miles away and see what that does.
But you don't even need that. You can debunk this with your hand in your room if you don't want to leave your room. Do you know what I mean? Just put your hand in front of your face, move your head around.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Look at things in the distance. How much are they moving to the wall? You know, how much is your hand? It's just stupid. And what I thought was maybe the best thing that come out of this whole arguing this thing is that maybe they'll understand a parallax, sort of the argument of that if the stars are so far away and we're moving in this space, you'll understand that, you know, how little parallax you'll see and stuff, you know, how undetectable it might be at that, you know, massive distance. I don't know. That's just something a pipe dream that might come through, but it's just ridiculous. Like, I just thought, is this really what they're talking about now? Is that what Dell's been talking about? I wasn't really listening to him.
Well, Dell had a little sort of. What happened was when Miles Davis did that observation and produced his video on it, it's around about the time that Jamie Brown jumped the fence, and at some point, somewhere, Jamie Brown mentioned that observation as one of his reasons for jumping the fence. And this really got under Dell's, you know, got stuck in his throat with it, really. And he went for that with all guns blazing. So to bring down the thing that had taken a flat earther away, you know. But he did his thing, you know. There's a bit of to and fro, and then he stopped and moved on. When he realised, he probably did realise that he can't reproduce that, you know.
It looks as though Vinny is in chat. Right?
Yeah, I was wondering if that was a real account.
That is his account, Vinny. Yeah. Because we all wondered that when he was in Tim's stream, and then he went in, and we were like, hey, sorry.
That was a joke when I said he was always drunk. But he is quite often drunk.
All right.
Hello, Soundly, as well.
Yeah. Soundly's here.
Oh, hi, Soundly. Sorry, I was on.
I'm driving, so I'll probably be muted for most of the time. I'm just kind of sitting in.
Well, that's okay. Right. We're about to finish up, really, to be honest, mate. Have you got anything you want to talk about that you've seen this week that you can mention, Soundly? I know you've been live a few times.
Well, the last one that you guys showed, or I'm sure you got to, Jim, was the Santa Claus thing. That was
Santa Claus, yeah.
Right.
That was completely ridiculous. I mean, what is wrong with these people, dude? You're like going into malls and messing with other people's kids? Really? That's screwed up.
Yeah, I thought that was. I don't know. I don't know why he can't see that that's really not a thing you should do, you know.
Right. Like he's presenting it in this light like, oh, it's the system, it's the mall, it's the entirety of society that's against me, and they're the ones that are wrong for not letting me do this.
Right.
And he doesn't recognize that it's disruptive to the business that's being conducted in the mall. And it's just like, it's a great point. I don't see how he can't understand that it would be the same for like when they just ban Globies from their chats. It's exactly the same. We're not on board with what they're doing, and so they ban us from the chat.
Right.
And they just up to the individual sovereignty of the groups who have been given that sovereignty. It's no different.
And the crazies are usually like dribbling in the corner, you know, you're like, oh, don't let your kid go near there. It's not fair if they dress up as Santa. That's not fair. That's an unfair advantage. That's all I'm saying. They would have never known. If he was just standing there with a flat earth sign, there would have been no problem. So, yeah.
Right, let me first tell everyone about next week's show, because I'm going to do it slightly differently just for a one-off. Next week is Show and Tell week. The idea is bring us your favourite flat earth moment of 2018. And when I say bring, that means during the week you can post a timestamp link in the comments to this video, or you can come in my Discord server and give it to me there, or you can just turn up next week and post a link in the chat, or you can come in the hangout and just tell us about something. I don't care. But please have a go. Try and think of your favourite moment. Stick it in the comments, as I said, or turn up with it next week, and we'll just go as long as we need to go, and people can pop in and tell us their thing and go away again. So, and I should have said, and because it's show and tell week, I hope that we will have a real life school teacher here to adjudicate this event.
That should be really exciting.
Sounds like fun.
Should work, shouldn't it?
Is it Charles?
Sorry?
Is it Charles?
It's
who's the school teacher?
It's top secret.
Oh, okay.
It is, and the best way to do this show and tell is you want to make sure that the links you share are time stamped and you've selected them. You know, put a little bit of effort into it, not too much. You know, it's not too much homework.
Yeah.
Here. But you want to make sure it's time stamped because you got it. We have to be able to look at it and put it up on the show in a nice, timely manner.
Right.
So that includes you, Cathexmus and Rusted. Favorite moments.
And that goes for any week, really. If this, if you see something going on in the Flat Earth community that you think should be on the show, drop me a comment on either on this channel or on my Jet Panda 2012 channel. And I'll get to it because I'm always hungry for material. You can also join my Discord server, the link to which is in the description, along with the links to channels for everyone on tonight's panel. The Discord has over 1,100 members, and we managed to keep a conversation going virtually 24/7. So we welcome members with opposing views, and sometimes we don't even call them names, although not very often. So click the link and join us. And I want to say thanks again to tonight's fabulous panel. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Anyone else got anything to say before we go?
Big up Flat Earth, man. You know you love it. You don't want it to end. You want it to carry on.
I do. That's true. So thanks again to tonight's fabulous panel. Thanks to all of you for watching. We'll be back around about the same time next week. So until then, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Have a great evening.
Thanks, Jim.